Eye-opener. All in all, we're just bricks in the wall. Good morning, President Trump. I think the policies you mentioned in the videos on your website will help reverse Biden's terrible presidency and put America back on the right path. This and all posts on this blog are merely meant to offer suggestions and solutions that might also help heal and restore the American dream. Now, I realize this may cause some controversy, but I suspect you not only like suffering fools, but thrive on their illogical attacks. With that said, I know you will try to improve relations with Russia, China, and all the members of the BRICS Strategic Alliance. The fact that it currently represents 41% of the world's population should be reason enough for America to seek out a stronger relation. But there are so many other benefits to improving diplomacy between the U.S. and BRICS nations. First off, American sanctions and threats aimed at China, Russia, Iran, and many countries around the globe can only cause the United States and the world to trend towards World War III, not away from it. This, in turn, will have the effect of pushing the planet closer to nuclear war, not away from it. While during your last term, we may not actually get into a conflict where nukes are lobbed at one another, any steps in that direction should be avoided at all costs. We should not leave such things for subsequent generations to figure out. To this end, I would hope that you would seek peaceful negotiations to resolve conflicts between Russia and Ukraine and Israel and the rest of the Middle East. In regards to the former conflict, it might be useful to point out that the war between Russia and Ukraine did not start a few years ago, but is a direct result of Ukraine bombing its own citizens in the Donbass region. Western interference to undermine peace talks. Ukraine's desire to join NATO and lies perpetrated by a Nazi-infested, illegitimate, and corrupt leadership in Ukraine since 2014. As for Israel and Gaza, even Israeli newspapers inside Israel are reporting things like Netanyahu has undermined all attempts to release the hostage taken by Hamas. Not merely some of the attempts to free the hostages taken on October 7th, but all attempts. Another thing to consider in regards to Israel and Gaza is, when is their retaliation enough? Estimates claim that between 40 to 200,000 people have been killed in Gaza, a high number of them being women and children. When can we say Israel's continued bombing and denial of assistance to Gaza has transitioned from retaliation to genocide? After all, as callous as it may sound to say only 1,300 Israelis were murdered in October 7th, it could never sound as bad as between 40 and 200 people have been killed since October 7th. And one last thing to note is that Israel attacked America in the USS Liberty incident. Have the people of Gaza attacked America? Has Iran? Secondly, China is eating our lunch in technology. They are producing 3-nanometer chips to scale, and they mine the rare earth minerals we need for all of our tech today. How Biden and those running his brain thought attacking China was the way to go, I'll never understand. But here we are. China's GDP is growing. Russia's GDP is growing. America's GDP is floundering at best. Why not extend an economic olive branch to those countries that are thriving with a message of peaceful trade with emerging markets instead of the West message of, we're taking our ball and going home? The ball in this case being the US dollar, and the going home being sanctions on an ever-increasing number of countries. In the end, the other countries keep playing with each other, whether we or our ball are present. There are ultimately a plethora of reasons to improve relations with countries around the world, but the main one is that we all live in the same planet and should all share the same goals. This I believe to be true, as whatever fate we seal for the children of China will be the fate for our own. To find out other ways you're being screwed by your current leaders, check out the posts on this blog daily. Learn about the biggest and worst issues that America and its people face today. You can also check in to learn about those issues that America and its people will face in the near and distant future. If, however, you would like to learn about possible solutions to either mitigate the worst impacts of these issues or solutions to avoid them altogether, keep listening. The problems we face are not as complicated as so many leaders and news reports claim. They are man-made and are only claimed as complicated so those who are responsible can maintain control. For example, there is a persistent argument that moving government is like turning a cruise ship around. It is supposedly a long process that can only be achieved incrementally. While this may be true for laws and policies that benefit the majority of Americans, it does not seem to be so for that smallest of American minorities. When one examines the policies and laws that benefit that minority known as the elite or the rich, the speed at which those laws are passed is exponentially faster. While most of us sit on the deck chairs waiting for the Titanic to avoid the myriad of icebergs of which we seem to continually run afoul, the elite ride comfortably in speedboats. If, according to our Constitution, all men are created equal, why do the rich live quite different lives than the rest of us? Where is our speedboat? In 2018, Chris Osman wrote a book highlighting the problems humanity would face if more power, wealth, and control were funneled to a small group of individuals, groups, or organizations. In that book, Mr. Osman provided solutions, from himself and others, to the inevitable problems we would all face. In it, he also provided a means for the public to analyze, compare, and contrast the words and deeds of those we've chosen to follow against our real-world experiences. To this end, Mr. Osman provides the means for readers to disseminate information as provided by their news sources of choice, their elected officials, and any other authority they choose to follow. The book, titled Solutions, Enough Complaining, Let's Fix America, offers a means to hold leaders up, not just to a higher standard than is currently accepted, but to one that will improve lives. We're all bricks in the same wall. Click the link below and get your copy today.